Experts in human trafficking gather in Saskatoon for National Summit. Police officers, legal professionals, and advocates from across Canada came together in Saskatoon on Monday to address the growing crisis of human trafficking. The Madison Sessions, a national summit organized by the anti-trafficking organization #NotInMyCity- serves as a platform for frontline groups to share strategies, tools, and insights. This is the cream of the crop of human trafficking investigators from coast to coast, across the entire country, said Paul Brandt, founder of #NotInMyCity and former country music artist. Brandt launched the organization in 2017 and has hosted the Madison Sessions for 3 consecutive years. The idea, he said, emerged from conversations with our CMP officers about the urgent need for cross-agency cooperation. For 20 years, we've been trying as investigators to get together in one room just to share best practices, Brandt recalled officers telling him, but it's been challenging because the resources haven't been made available, and there wasn't anyone to take the lead. Although the number of participating organizations this year remains undisclosed for security reasons, Brandt noted that partnerships forged during previous summits have already led to arrests, named after Madison Fraser, an Alberta woman who died in 2015 after being trafficked. The summit underscores a grim reality. According to #NotInMyCity, human trafficking is among Canada's fastest-growing crimes. The organization reports that 93% of victims are Canadians trafficked within the country, half of them Indigenous and 90% women. Online sexual exploitation, a common recruitment method, has surged by 616% since 2014. Human trafficking happens right in front of us, said SKT David Lane of the RCMP in Nova Scotia, one of Brandt's early collaborators. They call it the hidden epidemic for a reason. Lane emphasized the importance of prevention. The best human trafficking victims we get are the ones that we prevent, the ones that don't get into it. He also warned of organized crime's growing involvement. They're depending on us not working together. INSP. Aaron Coates of the Saskatoon Police Service praised the summit for enhancing collaboration. The Madison Sessions builds our investigators' capacity to stay ahead of the traffickers and their evolving tactics, she said. Talking to investigators, this is definitely the best and probably their favorite training. Anyone with information or in need of help can contact the Canadian Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-833-900-1010 for access to emergency support, law enforcement, and social services. Albertans renew separation talk after Liberal victory, hockey and nostalgia not enough following Mark Carney's Liberals win. Many Albertans are voicing renewed frustration with Ottawa, with some seriously considering separation. While Premier Danny L. Smith didn't immediately respond to the Liberal win, tensions are evident across the province, where the Liberals led in just 2 of 37 ridings in Alberta. Cameron Davies, a former UCP organizer and Alberta independence advocate, criticized the Liberals' rhetoric. Hockey and nostalgia doesn't pay the bills. It's not going to keep Canada together, he said, adding that without major reforms, separatist sentiment will continue to grow. Having resigned from the UCP, Davies said he plans to engage in honest, difficult conversations with other Albertans who feel the same. Smith previously warned that a Liberal win could spark an unprecedented national unity crisis unless Carney reversed policies seen as hostile to Alberta's energy sector. Albertans will no longer tolerate the way we've been treated by the federal Liberals over the past 10 years, she said online. Preston Manning, founder of the Reform Party, echoed the sentiment, calling Carney a threat to national unity. In an op-ed, Manning argued that large numbers of Westerners simply will not stand for another 4 years of Liberal government. He warned that Carney could go down in history as the last Prime Minister of a united Canada. To address the fallout, Smith announced a post-election panel to allow Albertans to propose issues for a possible referendum. Polls suggest up to 30% of Albertans would support leaving Canada if Liberal rule continues. Martha Hall Findlay, director of the University of Calgary's School of Public Policy, emphasized the need to reconcile. The opportunity to move forward is absolutely there. I have every confidence that the Prime Minister of Canada and Premier of Alberta will realize they can accomplish a lot more working together, she said. Findlay suggested that Carney could begin by adjusting the current emissions cap. My hope is that Carney shows a pragmatism with respect to the West, she added. However, independent journalist Rachel Parker was not optimistic. Frustrations in Western Canada have grown quite high. This put things into overdrive, she said, adding that she expects increased separatist organizing. Parker dismissed Smith's new panel as political drama. Panels are really a government's way of saying we're doing something, when it's really just kicking an issue down the road. Jason Kenney launched a similar effort in 2019, resulting in a costly $650,000 panel in a 2021 referendum on equalization payments. Jack Jedwab, head of the Association for Canadian Studies, noted Alberta's brand of separatism differs from Quebec's. It's a form of economic nationalism. Albertans strongly identify as Canadian, he said, distinguishing it from Quebec's emotionally rooted nationalism.
If you like this news and want more updates relating to this, please like, share, and subscribe.
Pierre Poilievre's political downfall deepens following a dramatic loss to the Liberals in the prime ministerial race. Once considered a frontrunner with a projected 90% chance of victory earlier in the year, Poilievre not only failed to secure the top job but also lost his own parliamentary seat, an outcome few predicted. Known for his hardline messaging and Trump-style campaign tactics including the adoption of the slogan Canada First, Poilievre's strategy appears to have backfired. His alignment with former U.S. President Donald Trump may have alienated voters, particularly after Trump launched an aggressive campaign against the Canadian government. Trump's remarks suggesting Canada should be annexed as the 51st state and claiming the U.S. subsidizes the country sparked widespread backlash and ignited a wave of nationalism. This unexpected shift in public sentiment helped propel the Liberals, who had seemed destined for defeat, to a surprise comeback. Now, Mark Carney, a political outsider and former central banker, is set to continue leading the country after securing victory in Monday's election. Poilievre had aimed to capitalize on dissatisfaction with former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, whose support dwindled amid rising food and housing costs. But with Trudeau stepping down and Carney taking the reins of the Liberal Party, the Conservatives lost their key target. In his concession speech, with his House of Commons seat still undecided, Poilievre remained defiant. "We are cognizant of the fact that we didn't get over the finish line yet," he told supporters in Ottawa. "We know that change is needed, but change is hard to come by. It takes time, it takes work, and that's why we have to learn the lessons of tonight, so that we can have an even better result the next time Canadians decide the future of the country." Despite the setback, Poilievre may remain at the helm of the Conservative Party. Trump's inflammatory rhetoric, including social media posts claiming he was on the ballot in Canada, further enraged Canadians, some of whom reportedly canceled U.S. trips, boycotted American products, and voted early in protest. A record 7.3 million Canadians cast ballots before Election Day. As results came in, the Liberals were poised to secure more of Parliament's 343 seats than the Conservatives. Whether they achieved a majority 172 seats or would need support from a smaller party remained uncertain. Carney's Liberals win narrow victory as Poilievre concedes in Canada election. Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberals secured another term in a tightly contested Canadian election on Monday but fell short of the majority mandate he sought to strengthen his hand in talks with U.S. President Donald Trump over tariffs. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre conceded to the Liberals, vowing his party would hold the minority government to account. Preliminary results showed the Liberals leading or winning in 164 ridings, short of the 172 needed for a majority in the 338-seat House of Commons. The Conservatives trailed with 147 seats as counting continued. Pollster Shachi Kurl, head of the Angus Reid Institute, attributed the Liberal win to three key developments. It was the anybody but Conservative factor, it was the Trump tariff factor, and then it was the Trudeau departure, which enabled a lot of left-of-center voters and traditional Liberal voters to come back to the party. Carney, a former central banker and political newcomer, had campaigned on standing firm against Washington's protectionist policies, pledging billions to reduce economic dependence on the U.S. Despite more than 9 years of Liberal government, the Conservatives mounted a surprisingly strong challenge. The result marked a comeback for the Liberals, who were trailing by 20 points in January before Trump revived tariff threats and former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau resigned. "I look back to as recently as December, when everyone was writing the Liberal Party off," said Chrystia Freeland, Liberal Transport Minister. "Tonight, when it is clear that we are going to form the government, from my perspective, that is an outstanding result." Freeland's departure from cabinet after clashing with Trudeau triggered his resignation and ultimately cleared the path for Carney. Trump, a major campaign presence, intensified tensions last week by threatening a 25% tariff on Canadian vehicles and suggesting that Canada become the U.S.'s 51st state. On Election Day, he posted, "Good luck to the great people of Canada. Elect the man who has the strength and wisdom to cut your taxes, quadruple your industries in size. If Canada becomes the cherished 51st state of the United States of America." Carney emphasized his economic leadership credentials as key to resisting Trump's agenda, while Poilievre focused on affordability, crime, and housing. However, the Conservatives' strong showing in Toronto suburbs was not enough to deny the Liberals victory. Poilievre himself was trailing in his Ottawa area riding as the vote count continued. Tensions with the U.S. appeared to consolidate support behind the Liberals, drawing voters from the New Democratic Party and Bloc Québécois. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh lost his own seat and announced his intention to resign as party leader. With this win, the Liberals became the first party since 2004 to capture 4 consecutive federal elections.